team ban.
All right, here we go tonight. We've got the Trench League Dota 2, the worst Dota 2 tournament, I think is their tagline. I'm not sure. Or Dota 2's worst tournament. And, you know, here we go on into it. My name is Sky, at Reacher Sky. I am joined with tehKitteh here tonight as my co-caster. And we're going to have the Disciples of Synderen versus Collective 5 Inches as our best of 3 match for the evening. How you doing tonight, Mr. Kitteh?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Sky?
Doing splendid. You hyped for some Dota? I hope so,
I
because
am ready.
they're blasting through these bans right now. You got any commentary
Luna.
on these things right here? Like Magnus first ban? That's got to be a little bit targeted. Or, I mean, DAC has been showing some flair on him, though.
Yeah. You know, there's quite a bit of targeted bans here, definitely. Just against the meta as well. They're trying to get rid of the Luna right off the bat, trying to remove any sort of pushing strats, potentially. And with the mag, they might be looking at maybe applying some sort of illusion or AoE-based heroes, or just all in all want to avoid the enemy taking any sort of juggernaut or anything that could really benefit off of that Empower RP. But you know, we'll see. We'll see if we can pick up on some sort of a trend here as the additional picks and bans come in.
So, yeah, Dazzle being kind of a little bit of a counter against the Slardar because of the armor, and Dazzle Axe in tandem. This could be something aggressive that they want to run there, because they cutting a creep wave very early in is difficult for a lot of teams to deal with. And interestingly enough, responding with a Lich to get their own positive boost of armor themselves. Kind of curious.
An additional thing that the Lich is going to allow Collective 5 Inches to do here is to be able to remove one of those creeps out of the wave if Lich happens to be in the same lane with Axe. That's going to give him about 20% or so less chance to get spins whenever he has the entire wave targeting him.
Dire team ban.
As well as, of course, denying experience and gold. That if they do decide to duo Dazzle and Axe in like an aggro offlane or something of that nature, having Lich as a safe support is going to prevent them from getting the upper hand via levels. And if Dazzle and Axe end up going up against some sort of a carry or an additional support that will be able to deal with the spins and the wave cutting, then the Lich and whatever carry he will end up having a pretty significant experience and level advantage, and maybe even snowball off of that to get some kills and really get the ball going.
So Slark ban out, I think, is kind of interesting because an Axe kind of preemptively deals okay against him. You know, being able to call him out of his ultimate in order to be able to force a little bit of a disengagement there.
Yeah. The PA as well. It's actually pretty interesting. Collective 5 Inches banning out the PA that actually for them would end up being a pretty decent pick here because of the incredible synergy with Slardar. So very interesting choices here. Now we got the sniper ban as well. This makes pretty good sense. The Dazzle has incredibly good synergy with Sniper, both due to the fact that they can stack slows, as well as Dazzle, of course, keeping the Sniper alive. And Axe initiating for the Sniper to really allow them to get on top of the enemy team.
So this Drow that's kind of interesting, because Drow, just by proxy of his aura, is her aura, if we gotta get specific, is gonna be able to give Dazzle a lot of extra right click there, and we could see, you know, this team Synderen here just looking to back it up with 2 more ranged characters. You know, just get as much value off that aura as possible.
Yeah. and again, that's the silence as well on Drow is going to have pretty good synergy with Axe's Blink Taunt, since he will have the enemies all stacked up around him, and then the silence will allow them to get an additional, at max level, 6 seconds of silence, where the enemies that got initially taunted will not be able to respond to their spells. So we still are waiting here for the additional picks to see what Collective 5 Inches is going to do in response to that Drow pick.
Yeah, it's still pretty open right now because, they're only showing a support and probably either an offlaner or a even Slardar could be a roaming 4 in that sort of direction. But I believe
Maybe.
Slardar is one of Amarok's heroes that he likes to play. And
Team pick.
I believe with 704, didn't they do some buffs on Talina?
Yes, they did. All in all, her talents end up making her into a much more significant threat, both
10
during
seconds
the mid
remaining.
and the late game. Just real quick, her talent tree, I believe, let me go ahead and open up the list here on Lena. Her talent tree at level 10 will allow her to get either 80 additional damage on Light Strike Array, or what most people opt for, which is 30 seconds off of the respawn time at level 10.
That's
a
pretty
nearly
early.
instantaneous respawn. Yeah, that is nearly instantaneous respawn if she dies at any point after getting that talent. And later on, she can get additional 150% attack range at level 20, and then
150
a massive
or 150% would be ridiculous.
150 attack range.
Okay.
And then at level 25, she also gains a very significant amount of move speed and attack speed added to her Fiery Soul Stack passive. So she will become a Gatling gun on top of her already immense magic damage, which again goes along very nicely with Slaughter's ultimate.
50 seconds for Synderen. They're going to be looking to get probably either a mid or even another support right now.
Yeah, if they are planning on taking both Dazzle and Axe into the off lane, there is a very good chance that we will be seeing here a 2-1-2. So
I'd like to see
think that
Avenge.
Oh my goodness, Avenge would really work very nicely for them indeed.
Even
with,
Jakiro.
Could you go into depth as to the Jakiro? I mean, the Avenge is pretty
Yeah.
self-explanatory with her passive.
The
But what about
Jakiro, realistically, for this sort of theory, would be to give them a way to take towers and pressure earlier with the liquid fire. And they have a lot of kiting potential
10
if they
seconds
have
remaining.
both Dazzle and Jakiro in conjunction with the Drow Ranger.
5 seconds remaining.
And the magic damage on Jakiro has just been buffed over time substantially. And I guess when they gave him that shiny new polish set, or reskin, that he's been starting to been taken advantage a little bit more. And if you're looking at it as a support, could work well to give them that early added push potential on the buildings.
Yeah, that is a very good point.
But earlier
One
than
thing
that, Venge are G's.
Yeah, definitely. Now, one thing that I am noticing very much here on the Dire that they will need to come up with an answer for Lich's frozen armor is the fact that at the moment, if you look at them, outside of Mirana's Starfall and Arrow, they literally have no additional magical damage.
Yeah, no wave
You
clear.
can look at Battle Hunger, but it's not anything that is too damaging early on. So
Dire team
right now, they have a lot of physical armor, and they're going to need to get some sort of an answer to deal with the collective 5 inches lineup.
So you think they
Otherwise,
need to have a magic
they need some
damage
sort of-
burst
Yes.
mid, maybe?
Maybe. Now, the thing is that seeing the Mirana here, it really kind of it really could go either way, and it puts collective 5 inches in a really odd spot for trying to guess whether that is a roaming Mirana, an off-lane Mirana, a support Mirana, or a mid Mirana. any of those options are completely on the table. So Collective 5 Inches did decide to pick the Legion Commander here. That is a very interesting choice into a Dazzle. What do you think about that?
Well, see, Legion Commander isn't what I would feel to be someone you want to fight into a Dazzle. As long as the Dazzle is well positioned, that Grave is going to negate any dual victories.
Yeah, on top of that, you gotta, again, remember the fact that on top of everything else, Axe could be there to execute Legion Commander sooner. He cannot taunt her out of her ult, but he will be able to Calling Blade her, get any extra pure damage off of those spins. And additionally, the right-click damage that is going to be coming out of Drow Ranger and Mirana is going to be incredibly powerful. And lastly, Legion Commander is going to be standing still for that entire duel. That Mirana arrow is going to be a very devastating stun if it ever lands.
Well, Synderen's going to be finishing off with a Shadow Fiend now, and that's going to be a lot of right-click power coming out from them. And realistically, it needs to be the Shadow Fiend snowballing for them to be able to take this game nice and quick and dirty.
Yeah, indeed. The Disruptor pick here is also very interesting. It could be utilized in multiple ways. Glimpse, obviously, giving them the option of either pulling back someone that, after a push, which is what Disciples of Synderen went for, after one of their pushes, when they decide to disengage, if Disruptor is there and he has vision, he will be able to pull back one of those heroes. Essentially, Disciples of Synderen have some good initiation with Axe, Call, or good Mirana arrow, but Collective 5 Inches here, I think, are going to be the ones that are definitely going to be the aggressors in terms of looking for team fights rather than any sort of pushes. Who do you think the carry on Collective 5 Inches is going to be? Potentially Slardar or Legion Commander?
I guess it's got to be Legion. That would have to be my thought process on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, one additional thing to note about the Shadow Fiend, of course, is the fact that Shadow Fiend's passive aura is going to reduce an additional 7 armor from the enemy team, and I believe that is also how much Frost Armor grants. No, Frost Armor grants 9. But Shadow Fiend's aura is essentially going to counteract most of that Frost Armor and really allow them to be able to, really allow Disciples of Synderen to apply that physical damage to its full potential, or to a greater effect, rather. Now, we see here an Iron Talon on the Axe. I think that he's realizing the fact that that bottom lane is going to be a very significant challenge. It looks like...
Well, before we get too on into it, let's give a roll down of our teams here. We've got Collective 5 Inches, our Radiant here, Amarak on the Lina, Pippi Man on the Legion Commander, Sad Chicken on the Disruptor, Quintiak on Slardar, and Nugs on the Lich. And for the Dire, the Disciples of Synderen, we've got I Drink Your Milkshake on the Drow Ranger, Magical Clouds on my man Dazzle, Henry Wadsworth Dongfellow on Axe. That is great. Tiny Puddles on the Shadow Fiend, and Felicity Jones on Mirana. A little bit of shout out to Pippi Man's grandma, and also I hear Pippi Man's cat too.
Alrighty, so let's take a look here. It looks like C5 is going to be going for the smoke gank at the top room, and I do not think the DOS are going to be able to react to it very well. Only Dazzle and Drow at the moment look like they're heading over there. So with a Glimpse, with a Slitherine Crush, with Light Strike Array, if any of them get seen or stunned, they will very likely die.
Yeah, realistically, they would want Axe or someone else who's a little bit more durable who could stand in the front to not only get the rune, but also be the one to be the front runner if there would be any of this early sort of rotation coming into play. And they don't have that.
No, they don't.
And it's not like there's a TP scroll on the Dazzle for him to do a self-grave TP out, worst case scenario. So
Yeah,
this could be our
then,
first blood in the top lane.
Maybe. Now, even then, there's a very likely chance that even if he were to have a teleport scroll, it would be canceled. There's just way too much crowd control.
Oh, I know, but
already on level 1. Let's see this drow. Let's see this drow here. Let's see what happens.
in the tree line.
They're wrapping behind
Smoke
the
broke.
trees to make sure that their smoke breaks and they know that she's there.
They're going to continue rotating on here. The crush whiffs off.
Ooh.
Kinetic field used, and they do miss that.
Oh my goodness.
Let's
Now,
strike connects at this point, and then now Kitteh continuing in on the pressure here. Magical clouds hitting with Shadow Wave.
Crush.
Able to take him out there. That's going to be our first blood going to Amarok in this match.
Now that was almost that was almost a missed opportunity there with the missed Synderen crush and the kinetic field, but luckily Lena landed that light strike array and Slaughter was able to follow that up. Now let's see, Drow is currently heading back to the lane. It doesn't look like she'll be missing out on any creeps. And yeah, look at that. It is Legion Commander carry.
Yeah, Hippie Man has rotate, bought that quick TP scroll, rotate to the bottom lane. And right now it's Felicity Jones and Henry Wadsworth Dongfellow in the Dire Jungle. But some pokes coming out from Sad Chicken on the Mirana. So she's going to get pressured back and have to use the Tango to heal up a little bit to come back into the jungle.
Now, this is a little interesting. It very much appears that Mirana is going to be playing roaming 4 here. She picked up a Blightstone first to even further amplify the armor reduction that later on will just become immense.
Are we going to get a skill shot arrow coming out from mid? Is that what we're hoping for now?
Let's take a look.
I don't know. Amarok has been playing pretty passive here, and we could be looking to set up for success. Shadow Fiend's level 2 now. Felicity Jones wandering around the jungle, looking for that perfect shot. Now, she could have earlier done an arrow, let that go off cooldown, and then had another arrow and had almost at level 2. But it's a lot of time being dedicated on what's going to be a skill shot.
Tanking a lot of creeps and being hit by a Synderen crush, barely making it out alive there. That was almost... That was almost a very significant mistake there on the Dazzle, but luckily he was able to recover. Now, Disruptor here trying to contest the Bounty Rune at bottom jungle.
Yeah,
this
is crazy. Mirana has dedicated so much time to just being around this area. Still level 1 now at 2 minutes, and has basically accomplished nothing. And now Sad Chicken and Nugs, they're going on in on Felicity Jones, and Sad Chicken does get the kill.
Now, I want to point out, furthermore, what you were saying. Mirana has stood there for the last entire 90 seconds at the very least. She has not gained a single experience point. So right now, she has to make sure that some of those arrows hit home. Otherwise, she will start to become fodder very quickly. Now, Legion Commanders right now having a very easy time in the lane. She does not have anyone contesting her. Surprisingly, even though Slaughter is top, Drow has just about as many last hits. Now, Drow did pick up level 1 Frost Arrows here, and she's trying to use it to orb attack Slaughter and not take any harass damage from the creeps there. Now, Slaughter is nearly out of regeneration. He did manage to purchase the Iron Talon, so I'm rather certain that he will be rotating into the jungle very soon here.
Yeah, Dazzle's doing a good job pulling these creep waves, denying as much as he can, and taking out as much of that value from the Slardar. So good on him for that sort of commitment.
Now, just a little tidbit for those watching here. Creeps denying to neutrals has been changed in the last couple of patches. Now when a creep dies to neutral, it grants 50% of the experience that it otherwise would to any enemies that are nearby, just the same as denying. So the only benefit that comes essentially from denying your own creeps while they're being killed by neutrals is to just speed it up. You're not going to deny any extra experience.
Oh,
now,
man. Mid lane, we had a double raise from Tiny Puddles. Able to take off Amarok, and now, oh god, Sad Chicken able to come up behind with the Thunderstrike on Felicity Jones. Take some heavy fire, but he'll be okay in the end.
Shrine is down, so Mirana and Shadowfiend will not be able to use it, but Shadowfiend did find the DD rune, and he will recover. Let's see. Let's take a look at the vision mid here. Very interesting. So, in order to prep, essentially, for the Mirana arrows, collect the 5 inches... Oh,
from downtown, off the mark.
Collect the 5 inches did end up putting a sentry mid, but they did not find the ward.
Well, if you look at Just Dire Vision, they have that coverage up top, but Just Radiant, they have their observer in the bottom, so they've been able to see the last few arrows come by because of their placement of their vision comparatively. So those from downtown Mirana arrow rotations, they're not being that effective.
Additionally, on top of that, I noticed that Disruptor actually ended up being that X-pinged the Mirana arrow, so it appears that he's keeping really close eye on her and trying to help her out. Now, if you look at bottom here, we're having a Sanctuary being used by 3 members on the Disciples of Synderen. DD still active on Shadowfiend, and oh my goodness, look at that. Without the DD even, Shadowfiend currently sits at a whopping 55 plus, what is that, around 65, something like that? That is a lot of extra.
Well,
yeah,
he's got another 10 on
that
top
is a
of
lot
it,
of. Yeah, that is plus 65. Look at that. That is a ton of damage on him. Now, Mirana is currently located behind Lina mid, so arrows
favorite place
are
to
going to be going through the trees here.
Arrow is going to be a little bit off the mark, though. Not going to be able to apply that sort of danger zone to Lina if they want to, but because realistically, he gets hit, that's a kill. But top lane, Slardar coming on in here. Nugs threw out that blast much earlier. Right on point, you know, mid-cast point, basically, able to get them pushed off. And Magical Clouds is here. He found the Disruptor. Disruptor poking him a little bit with the Thunderstrike.
Lina got hit with an arrow. Mid as well. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, in the mid lane, he's throwing out the damage out on Shadowfiend. Drow Ranger in the top goes down, and it's going to be Amarok in mid. So mid lane and top getting a trade. But they're not done yet. Magical Clouds is still taking damage here. Disruptor, unfortunately, not having the mana for the Glimpse. They're going to have to retreat off of him for the meantime.
Now, they do have Shrine up right now. Let's see if Slaughter is going to be joining them there. Yes, he is. He's now sprinting there now. Also, take a look at the Disruptor's items. He has a stout shield. What do you think about that? It's probably for the trading with Mirana, since he has been pretty much in her face for the entirety of the early game. So
that's very interesting. I feel like if you would have opted for like a Ring of Protection, that may have been a little bit better, just to have armor rather than the damage block.
Yep. Mirana currently, that is a really good point. Mirana currently has Blightstone, and oh my goodness, thanks for that Drow Aura, look at her. With just boots and Blightstone, she's currently sitting at a whopping 70 damage.
Arrow, just barely off the mark on Amarok. Oh my gosh.
Now let's...
Zap! Tiny Puddles is so low. He just got blasted away, and now Lina's hitting that level 7. Soul Ring coming out, too.
Beautiful play by Lina. Oh, look at top. Dazzle. Oh, wait, no. Oh.
No, yeah.
There we go. I was about to say, it looks like he's going around for the Poison Touch slow, but he actually has not skilled it yet, which is absolutely fine given the circumstances.
Jeez, Mirana was getting pressured a lot in the mid lane. Has to leap away and retreat further.
Now,
connects on the tiny one.
Oh, the axe bottom, very low, but it looks like he'll be able to escape with just barely clinging onto life there.
He was actually like jungling and stuff earlier to that, so he's got a trank boot. He don't care.
Oh yeah. Now, thanks to the fact that the Radiance supports ended up rotating top and started applying pressure to Drow, Axe was then granted the ability to go into the lane and start kind of contesting Legion Commander. However, so essentially what ended up happening is the Radiant traded protection for their carry in order to harm the enemies farming up top. Now it looks like Starter's going on Drow here.
Yeah, out comes the Light Blast. Nice grade from Drow, but Drow was going to get glimpsed back immediately. Sadchek able to get that right click down on him. And they're going to continue the pressure down on Magical Clouds. Another Thunder Strike. That's not going to be enough to finish him off. No glimpse either.
Alright, now let's take a look at bot here. Mirana has rotated into the lane. She's picked up a Wind Lace and a Belt Strength since we last looked at her. And the arrow barely missing Legion Commander there. Now, Legion Commander farming incredibly well. Before 10 minutes, having 61 last hits. Mid looks like they traded.
Yep.
Missed out on that. Those kills happen so quickly with Laguna.
Well, I mean, Shadowfiend was able to get the return with his, you know, Requiem with Souls, ult passive type, yeah. Bottom lane, Pippi could end up getting baited out on something. Felicity Jones is hanging out nearby in the jungle.
Yep.
Tree line.
Oh, let's take a look at this. Legion completely unaware of the fact that Mirana is there.
He just got his blink, though.
Are they not in each other's vision? My
no,
gosh.
now they are.
Look at this! No. I'm sorry. Neither of them actually ended up seeing each other, even though they were standing literally on each other's feet. Arcane Rune top being picked up by the Lina to be used at the later time. We should see... Oh,
maybe with that next
like
Laguna up.
It looks like she's actually rotating up top right now. Let's take a look at that. Might be a 4-man gank on
Oh, Blink Duel coming out here from the Pippi man. That's going to be his first duel victory today. And although Felicity Jones is already TP'd up here, ready for action, I don't think he alone is going to be able to do anything. And blat, there goes a melee creep.
Yeah, it looks like Radiant, even though they're not, their lineup does not look like it'll be able to push too well. They are actually ending up going for the top tower here, and it does not look like the Dire wants to defend it. Shadowfiend, meanwhile, is going to be getting some really solid damage in on the middle tower here with his nearly 200 damage. Essentially, they're going to be trading towers. Oh, arrow landing on Lina, but no follow-up.
Well, press the attack. Oh, yeah, press the attack. I mean, that's like that purge of Abaddon love, baby. Throw anything in that direction, Abaddon, I'll be happy.
Getting rid of the stun. It can remove Drow's silence. It'll be able to remove Battle Hunger, as well as Dazzle's Poison Touch. So actually, quite a few things that could potentially be purged here by press the attack. Now let's take a look at the experience right now. I
mean, it's only about 1,000 net worth or it's only about 1,000 in Radiant favor as it all, so not that substantial. Pretty close game still.
Look at that Axe actually having picked up the Blink Dagger as well. Let's see the reveal here for the double taunt.
Oh, no, just getting one there, but the spin to win and the dazzle here are going to be immense, and although the Lich Ult gets thrown out, oh wow, they're going to be able to get one here?
No,
Lich?
no, no! Oh my god.
29 HP. I mean, that RNG was so much on his side, too. He just didn't end up getting it in the end.
The prize is mine.
Oh, Drow getting caught up top again. She literally walked down there. There was no blink necessary from Legion Commander there, I think. It was... They have no... the Dire team right now has no vision in the jungle. The Dire has instead opted, if you look at the Radiant jungle right now, Dire has opted for warding the enemy's jungle, probably looking for kills with Mirana and the Axe, but that means that they're going to be very susceptible to Lina ganks. Legion Commander ganks.
Well, bottom lane, Pippi Man is ready for action. He's already got plus 20 duel. Nearby, we've got Dazzle and Shadowfiend, so he doesn't want to go in on this by himself, and Lina's here. They got the Laguna Blade ready, blinking forward.
Let's see if the Grave will come out. No. The duel was not up. But if he managed to bait out that Grave, he would have probably continued to chase, to be honest.
Dazzle's got to get out of here now, too.
Oh, yeah. Looks like the Radiant team has picked up steam, and they're not ready to let this train stop. They are going to go for the 5-man push at bot, and Shadow Fiend having teleported out, now it looks like he's heading mid. It does not look like the Dire wants to fight. The Dire is just willing to trade towers. Let's see if they will be able to pick up the Radiant's tier 1 tower up top.
Well, I mean, bottom lane, Dire are losing their tier 1, and, you know, the Radiant are going to be probably losing theirs as well, so just kind of trading them all, you know. But right now, Legion actually getting the duel off on the Shadow Fiend. Laguna Blade committed it too. Pippi Man almost goes down himself, and now Tiny Puddles, he is going to go down. Now he's able to get the kill there. Glimpse back on the Dazzle. He has no more Shallow Grave.
Oh,
the heal!
Landing on Disruptor.
The heal! Able to take out Legion Commander. That's a ton of physical damage when Weave is already dropped on top of you.
Oh my
Can't
goodness,
underestimate that.
Lina currently standing at 50% additional damage taken from physical attacks due to her negative armor. Mirana having landed that beautiful arrow on Disruptor and used the tome that was in her inventory. She is now level 6 and has Moonlight Shadow. So the Radiant are now going to need to switch gears and be much more cautious about dueling, because if they duel and Dazzle ends up graving the person that is being dueled, LC could either drop, and worse, the Dire team can actually get on top of the Radiant while they're under the effect of Moonlight Shadow and catch the Radiant completely off guard. It does not look like the Radiant is prepping with any dusts or sentries, so they will need to pick some up very soon, otherwise they will be paying for it.
You know, the way that I look at it is that as this game goes longer, this Lina is going to get progressively more terrifying, and that snowball potential of the Lina Legion roaming together is going to be very difficult for the Dire to deal with if they're picking off this Dazzle at the beginning of all these fights. You know, does that blink dual initiation on Dazzle? They can't really do it over and over.
Yeah, not to mention that, Moonlight Shadow having been used here on Mirana, and let's take a look here. Starfall landing, the support's getting completely melted by the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, that double raise is more than enough needed. Wadsworth's coming in with that blink call, and there's the dunk!
Absolutely beautiful, beautiful return from the Dire. They're
Down goes the sad chicken. Sad chicken, no. So sad.
Now, Legion Commander's looking to finish up her Blade Mail. I believe Axe just managed to finish his, so Legion Commander and Axe completely neck and neck in net worth and items. Arrow barely missing Lina there. Now, it's going to take time for... Oh, look at that. Lich is actually teleported behind. Look at that.
Oh,
Slaughter
boy,
teleporting
Slaughter.
in.
Oh, no, the call misses. We've thrown out, though. And now Quintok needs to back up off this. Pippi Man wanted to get the blink duel, not able to connect on it.
Overwhelming odds still not having been used. Blink off cooldown.
Ah, blink rush from Quintok, able to connect in on two. They get the glimpse back, and
she might not find this duel. Oh!
And Pippi Man was able to get in on that and take him out. Axe trying to go for the dunk, not able to finish. I drink your milkshake, getting grave. One more hit is all they're going to need. Down he goes, and now Pippi Man on the other side of the Fae. Going in on Mirana. That lightning strike will probably be enough to seal the deal, and there it is. Down he goes, and all these guys, they've got no HP, no mana, yet it's just a Dazzle, baby. And he's going to go down also. Triple kill.
That glimpse is causing so much damage to the Dire team. Having been able to remove Shadow Fiend out of Dazzle's range, that duel just absolutely obliterated him with no chance for saving. Now, a mech apparently on Lich is going to be the next item here. I don't quite know how I feel about that. Lich does not have any additional int or mana items, so he is going to genuinely be struggling maintaining his mana up during teamfights if he's not next to a creep wave.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an interesting choice. I mean, there's value to having a mech on your team as a whole, but
you need someone that can use it.
yeah, it's not the
Someone
same
that has
situation
resources to
for
use
a Lich versus like you know, a Legion commander in the
Disruptor with
jungle.
mana boots, honestly. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't.
I was just memeing.
Oh. Well, meme away. Meme away.
Well,
This
I mean,
is,
hey, Legion Commander jungle, you get your perk out to level 25, right? And then, you know, that's when you like actually start making dreams happen.
Well, we're quite a ways away here from level 25. We're halfway there in terms of levels. It looks like the Radiant here are looking to smoke. Dire, again, placing their consistently, if you take a look at them, by their tier 2.
Well, I saw.
Placing aggressive, very aggressive wards.
Now they're smoked up as 5. They're roaming into the Dire jungle.
It does
don't have any
not
vision
look
on
like...
this.
Yeah, they're completely unaware that everyone's off the map. Now, it does look like they're reacting, and they're all grouping on
Whoa,
Drow, but I
Southern
don't think they're
Chukash
gonna make it
going
there.
forward. Committing a lot for this, but that is a free duel win for the Legion
Oh my
Commander.
goodness,
Down goes
Shocking,
one
getting
more at
stunned
this
too.
point.
Beautiful 4-man taunt. Starfall coming in too. Let's see, chop 1. The shrine haven't been used. Axe running incredibly quickly.
Lich goes into the tree line, trying juke and jiving around, and Pippin unable to throw out the pressing
Oh
attack
my
on him, and
gosh.
now Wadworth's taking some heavy fire, magical clouds thrown out the
beautiful
shallow grave.
grave.
With the weave follow-up, now they're going to try and do something here, but now it's Amarok just taking out Mr. Wadsworth in the end.
The Radiant just came in, said, "This is our jungle now. Get out of here," and they really stomped on Dire there. Dazzle did not weave there at the start of the fight, did he? He ended up using it on the
It was
axe.
when
That
the
is,
grave went down. He graved and then weaved.
Yeah, very interesting choice there. The amplified damage was actually up on axe for quite a while there. Now let's take a look. The Dire has respawned. Shadow Fiend trying to clear out some of these creeps with his raises, but look at that. Lena now with that that 670 attack range base, just absolutely pummeling those towers down with little to no repercussion from the Dire team.
Well, and he's got this Bloodstone finish up too, so he can spam his spells as freely as he wants because it's at to 16 charges. And Shadowblade's going to be the next item for her. That is going to be great for allowing her to have a little bit of that sneakiness. And, you know, with their team having a Slardar on it, it's going to be a little bit less likely that... I was going to say it's a little bit less likely that they would continue in getting more levels of Invis, but Shadow Fiend got the Shadow Blade. And that's not untypical to still do into this sort of lineup, to have that initiation himself.
Let's take a look. Shadow Fiend here moving in on Lich. Did he... Yeah, he's completely spotted out the Lich. He's now Lich trying to hide in the trees, but it's too late there, buddy.
Yeah, they got the weave coming out on there. Nugs able to get a great bounce off on his ultimate, trying to force a disengagement there. The arrow from downtown, able to connect in on Sad Chicken. And Tiny Puddles in the tree line wants to try and do something, but he's going to get dusted out. The grave, perfect timing. Pippyman unable to get the duel there, and Tiny Plus getting that out.
Oh, Shadow Fiend barely making it out by the skin of his teeth.
Well, we've got a glimpse back, though. Tiny Puddles is still extremely low. Amrock able to get that kill there. He's now unstoppable, up to 18 Bloodstone charges, and Sad Chicken is going to have to help his friend out in just a couple seconds here.
The glimpse is up in 5 seconds here. If they have vision, they may be able to... No, it looks like they are all disengaging. So, all in all, 2 for 2. But, wow, what a fight. Just start out with a very interesting chase by Shadow Fiend onto the Lich, but he actually lost sight of him in the tree line. So, Lich ended up getting off beautiful, absolutely beautiful Chain Frost. And Drow actually lost most of her health before the fight even started. And she was not able to participate there. So she missed out on a lot of experience and gold from those kills. And she's really actually struggling for items. She's just barely on the cusp of finishing her Force Staff, already having the Hurricane Pike recipe. So at 24 minutes, this carry Drow is only going to be looking at Hurricane Pike and not the greatest net worth for what you'd expect from a safe lane carry. But
Hey, well, you know, Drow's going to be getting his Force Staff soon, too, so how about them apples?
Dyer's bottom tower
Well,
is under
it
attack.
will definitely allow her to be able to avoid some of those, hopefully, Slithering Crushes or safer allies, but it's not going to help too much if someone's being dueled or glimpsed. So
Oh,
we'll have to
I
see.
slipped. I meant to say Dazzle, not Drow.
Oh, Dazzle getting a Force Staff.
Yeah, he's almost got his.
Again,
Yeah.
now Force Staff is it's an interesting pickup here, because as I said, if the person is dueled or being glimpsed, that Force Staff's not going to do too much. It can only really be used against things like someone who's being stunned by Light Strike Array or Slithering Crush, or to help people disperse from Chain Frost. Now it looks like Lina's coming in mid here. Chasing the Drow and Shadow Fiend.
Well, this would be an unveil of...
Oh, Sentry has been placed by the Dire.
Yeah, I mean,
Sentry
like, this
has
is
been
going to be,
placed by the
what, the unveil of the Shadow Blade, but, you know, who knows how effective it's going to be. Tino Puddles
Oh.
able to get out of that mess before something bad happened to him.
Oh my gosh, look at that. The Radiant has smoked.
Oh, wow. Quintok gets off the Corrosive Haze
Slaughter
on one.
gets
Bradsworth able to get the
absolutely
dunk off
obliterated.
immediately. Nugs throws out the
Beautiful
Lich Ult.
Chain Frost.
It's bouncing out relatively well, but it's forcing a disengagement more so than anything. And Sad Chicken actually ends up being another casualty of the war. Poison Touch thrown from Dazzle. Nothing. Just nothing.
Now, Lina going down as well, losing out on those Bloodstone charges, but look at that, back up immediately and didn't even get the 30-second respawn timer. So this Lina
Radiant's top tower
really
is
using
under
that
attack.
Bloodstone to its full effect, having no downtime whatsoever. Now, Axe has picked up Hood of Defiance, and he is going to complete the pipe. This is going to make the Dire team far more resilient to Lina, Lich, and Disruptor, as is. And Legion Commander looks like she's building the AC here, the Assault Cuirass, to help synergize further with the Corrosive Haze. And once Corrosive Haze is going to be level 3 in about 5 levels with AC, that is going to be with AC, sorry, and Blightstone. My gosh. That is
Hey,
going
you just
to
gotta
be-
snack negative armor when you're a Legion Commander. Everything will turn
Oh,
out
yeah.
okay.
Dyer's top
Well,
tower is
Legion
under
Commander's forte is physical damage, and that's what she's gearing for. Now, it looks like the Radiant don't look like they're...
Well, they're gonna try and
Ready for this push.
they're gonna try and trade a tier 3 for a tier 2.
And I don't know, against that Drow
Dyer's top tower
Shadow
is
Fiend
under
lineup, that
attack.
is a very, very risky call there.
Well, Legion Commander is forced
Now
to
that they've
teleport
lost-
back, and
Oh,
we've got the
beautiful,
charge
beautiful
not
taunt on
connecting
Lich.
enough, or long enough at least.
Radiant's bottom
Lina
tower
is still pushing, mind you, and but too late. The barracks have gone down. Dust, really late usage. Slaughters did connect. Let's see the amplified damage on the Shadow Fiend here. Sprint. That Shadow Fiend is not very likely to make it. Oh my goodness. The crush missing.
Oh man, well, Tiny Pose needs to definitely get on out of here. Keeping the
Now,
corrosive on him in. Oh, there's the duel! Mr. Pippi, up to 58.
That was probably a tactical Slithering crush miss, you know? Got to make sure that he stays alive long enough for the duel.
Or
now,
it's
Lina
more
is-
like I gotta let my other guys get all that for myself.
Now, Lina is still up top. She fought with Dazzle for a little bit, but she forced him to... Well, he lived because of the Mirana ult, but she is applying a lot of pressure top and making sure that right now the Dire team cannot really afford to let top lane push. The tier 3 did not take too much damage from Lina, and surprisingly... Oh, well, not surprisingly. As we discussed during the picking phase, as a matter of fact, Disruptor's Glimpse is really starting to show its effect on the Dire's pushing strat. When they try to disengage, Disruptor and Slaughter say, oh, you're not going anywhere. It looks like, oh, beautiful, beautiful dust there on the Lich.
Yeah, that Slithering Crush
Shadow Fiend.
able to connect in on Shadow Fiend and press the attack. No, he's not going to go forward to try and get a kill off on them. He's going to go back to try to finish Roshan, and, you know, they're trading 1 for 1 right there. But securing the Roshan is going to be the biggest
That
value
is-
that they had.
that is definitely a big victory for Radiant there, even without the Aegis and the Roche kill. The fact that they traded the Slardar for Shadow Fiend, it's a pretty significant advantage now, and it will allow the Radiant to get a couple of minutes here for warding and pushing out that bottom lane to try and get some more map control from the Dire.
And check out this Dire vision. We've got some coverage in the Radiant jungle, and then we've got this in the bottom to give a little bit of awareness, along with the top. You know, just it's basically the same coverage on both sides of the map to some extent.
Yeah. Very similar. Dire now.
But the Radiant are very focused on the mid and the Roshan pit, and that makes sense because of what they just accomplished.
Now the thing is that is going to impact the Radiant a little bit in terms of finding ganks, because at this point with no objectives in the mid except for the tier 3s, they're going to need to look for ganks because that's what their team's built for. But without those wards placed around the map, they're not very likely to be able to see these smoke ganks coming in from the Dire. Now they shrined as a group. Dazzle does have two smokes, and on top of that, they will be able to Mirana ult as well. There's an arcane rune. Mirana just walked by. I don't think that she saw it. Now, Radiant did successfully manage to scan the Dire, so they know that they're there. Very good, very good map sense.
Yeah.
Now, Pipe has been complete on Axe, and he's building a 4-staff next. He's saving for buyback right now.
Lena's going to have her Ags on her any second. Everything's just back at the base on the courier. Boop, there it is.
Mirana's also, after the Shrine kill, Mirana will be getting Blade of Alacrity and complete her Ags. So she's really starting to become a very significant threat, even without any significant amounts of farm. Thanks to that Drow Aura on top of the synergy with Weave, and now her Ags, this Mirana is actually pretty significant threat to, I think I said significant 4 times there. Pretty serious threat for the Radiant team.
Well, if you're looking at Shadow Fiend, he's up to 106 plus 138 and increasing damage, partially in thanks to the poor duels earlier on where Collective 5 Inches wasn't able to solo out Mr. Dazzle prior to these encounters.
Yeah, and that is, that is one of the things that we saw during the pick phase. The fact that they did, again, pick that Legion Commander into the Dazzle, not vice versa. AC has been complete here on LC, and it looks like Lena's now going to be, well, yeah, there it is, teleporting up top. They smoked without her, though. But she has a Shadow Blade.
Looks
so
like Lena wants the Bloodthorn, which is what you were getting at, Orchid.
Yep.
Chrysalis. Delicious.
Lena getting the Fiery Soul stacks here before Shadow Blading. Very smart move on her.
Well, so many Bloodstone charges that it's easy
look
for
at that. BKB having been complete now on both Shadow Fiend and Drow. They are ready for this fight, and they want to take it even into the Aegis.
Crush.
Beautiful
Blink coming in on 2. Mirana ultimate used preemptively for them to try and retreat here, but great glimpse out on Axe. They might be able to finish him off, and we've got a very early grave. This could be enough to seal his fate, and they're able to take down Axe with that Blade Mill in the end, but Lich has fallen too, so 1 for 1 right now. Great Laguna Blade coming up from Lena, but good return follow-up also. So now we're in the 2-2, and Milkshake is wanting to kill Slardar here, and that Gust won't help you if you try and use it. Okay, good, he didn't, but are they going to be able to return any sort of fodder onto the Legion Commander? I'm not sure. Arrow
she stayed
off
around
the
way
mark.
Longer than she should have, and let's see now. She may end up paying for it. Arrow down, Gust again, not canceling teleports there, buddy.
A lot of people don't know that. Like instinctively, they're like, "Oh, it's a silence. We're good, right?" Darn, what?
Well, that and the knockback component of it too. But again, just like 4-staff,
it's misleading, I guess. Yeah.
Yep, it does not actually end up applying any sort of interrupt to the hero. Now, as we're now seeing a very interesting situation here. even though the Radiant are the ones geared for getting these pickoffs, getting these team fights on their terms, Dire has seriously built beautiful answers to their lineup. This Dazzle's really started to have a very, very... I need to stop saying significant.
Very,
sorry.
very, very significant. All these adjectives, we don't need them.
Now,
Filler
there's
words,
been a
my
medallion
friend.
picked up on the... there's been a medallion picked up on the Dazzle and a lot of wards and additional smoke. So it looks like the Dire is... Well, wait, no, this will be, what, 3 smokes on the Dazzle now.
Probably.
1 smoke on the Mirana. So when they decide that they're ready to put on their big boy pants and go hunting, this Radiant team is going to be need to be on their toes for that. Now it looks like they're grouping up once again, and the Radiant...
Maybe Drow will finally get to use that BKB. Shadow Fiend's ready too.
Now, look at the next item queued up for Drow, meanwhile. It's going to be Maelstrom, so we might be seeing an Axe pickup here as well.
That's pretty sweet. And that's always one of my most enjoyable things, the Tesla Drow.
Now, they found out the Legion Commander here. Shadowblade nearly out on Shadow Fiend. There it is. Now they've seen each other.
BKB used, Tiny Puzzle canceling the ultimate for just a moment. Axe Call on Nugs. Are they going to be able to bait him back into it? He's able to connect with that arrow. And they don't finish off Nugs. He actually switches his right on back to the other side of it all. And Drink Your Milkshake goes down. BKB was used for him, and Pippi Man also taking the fall.
Now,
it's not done. The Light Strike Array going off on the back end. Tiny Puddles looking to continue to fire back on the heat. And Quintok takes a lot of damage here. Magical Clouds is also trying to just do anything he can against this pesky Slardar. But Wadsworth is going to be able to call him out.
The Glimmer Cape doing some work here.
There he goes down.
Oh. Yep. Now, we got Lena here. She's not picking up the eels, and we're starting to see... She has not picked up the eels, sorry. And we're starting to see that her stuns, their unreliable part is really showing. Without being able to prep her target for a secure stun, she's actually missing out on a lot of potential damage that she'd otherwise be able to land through her right clicks. This Shadow Fiend ended up fighting her for a very significant portion of that team fight, and Lena was not able to stand there and tank his hits at all. She currently has no additional armor, so when she is near Shadow Fiend, or she has Medallion or Weave on her, she's going to be taking serious amounts of physical damage.
I'm waiting for someone from the Dire to just roll into the bottom, pop off that range tracks with a couple clicks and leave.
Yeah, that range rack is indeed very low. However, the Radiant do have a freshly planted sentry, which will time out 4 minutes from now. There aren't any wards immediately next to that racks, but there is one on the cliff. So they should be good for a while. Now, there is another ward here. This is... Oh, Lena having been spotted out. Shadow Fiend chasing her with the Shadow Blade out. Lena trying to get that move speed. Oh.
She is zigzagging, driving, and down and away she goes. It looks, yeah.
They are still looking for her.
Well, yeah, they are.
Now, the Glimmer Cape on Disruptor here is really also starting to do some damage. There is dust and sentries. There is sentries on Dazzle, dust on Mirana, but other than that, not any additional detection. So this Glimmer Cape is, until additional detections picked up by the Dire, this Glimmer Cape is going to continue to be a nuisance for the Dire team. And now Slaughter has teleported top, but he is kind of low on mana actually. He only has enough mana for 2 Slithering touches, so any sort of prolonged fight is going to leave him begging for mana.
Well, Mirana Ultimate has been used. They're going to be able to sneak on in on this. No aggressive vision for the Dire right now for this fight. So they're kind of running in a little bit blind. They see Disruptor right now, and you can only expect that an arrow does connect on him. Press the attack to be able to break that off. Looks like they just took a quick strike on that tower. The Dire Task Force rolling out.
Dire Shrine is still up. Let's see if the Radiant are going to try and go for some sort of fight here.
Oh,
Another
the
arrow hitting
connecting on
Slaughter. Axe
Slardar.
going
Connect
in.
failed going on there
Getting
as
the
well.
taunt.
Lena silenced out
No
on the back
follow
end.
up on the Axe there, though. So is Axe going to go down here? They have Glimpse up. They have Glimpse up. Let's take a look. Disruptor could force staff himself and get into range. But Axe made it out just fine. Lena getting caught out right now.
I thought it was going to be a master bait, but not really in the end. Overextension.
Barracks are under attack.
I'll take
Radiant
that.
structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom barracks have fallen.
Bit out of the comfort zone for that sort of kill. And, I mean, take a
Yeah,
look.
that-
Boop! Roshan is now up.
Looked like there may have been some miscommunication on the Radiant team there, and instead of going for Roshan, interestingly enough, Dire are going to do what Dire does, and they're going to be using that push lineup for its full potential once again. Are they going to be going through backdoor protection here? Looks like they are. However, with the tower with its 20 armor, it seems like it's too much for the Dire right now, so they will be backing off.
Yeah, it was a very gradual going through the backdoor protection. Well, we're at minus 24 on the total HP, so, not really.
Not yet. Drought surprisingly has a lot of damage, but yeah, not putting much of a dent into that tower.
Tesla
it looks
Drow.
Shadow Fiend is picking up his is going to be getting a Lincoln's here,
Radiant's middle tower has
interestingly enough, for the Legion Commander.
And
looking at
Lena,
and
yeah.
Glimpse. Yeah.
Wadsworth
Axe.
going for the call, not connecting initially. They are still able to follow up and get Quinlock in the end. Not sure where Henry Rancher Dungfellow is going. It looks like that haste rune that's been calling his name. And Radiant know that Roshan's up. They're going to probably look to take this. And I'd expect them to have even better map awareness and map control in the next couple minutes.
Now, if you, interestingly enough, you take a look at the Dire and the Radiant Vision, both of them don't have too many wards up right now. Radiant does have a defensive ward around the top cliff, but that's... I don't know if that's going to be enough. There is a sentry already preemptively placed as well in mid in order to prep for any sort of rotations from Dire, any sort of Shadowblade or Mirana Moonlights, so... It looks like the Radiant is going to be ready to take this next high ground defense. The Dire is going to need to go for some sort of pickoff here to be able to go for these tier 3s safely. So they will probably be looking to plant some additional visions somewhere near the Radiant base. Otherwise, those ganks will only come with luck. And
That
I don't
drawing
know,
looks like
Dire-
an eggplant.
yeah, it looked like half of the yin yang sign. Complete accident, because I'm an artist. Now, Axe here actually has enough, but again, saving for a buyback. Oh, wait, no.
Oh,
Okay,
wait,
yeah.
no.
I thought he was going to buy it. But Axe is going to be picking up a Lotus Orb here, which is not going to help too much against Legion of Commander's Stool, but it can remove it can remove Slaughter's Amplify. It can remove, not Glimpse. It can remove Lightning Strike, and that's about it.
Laguna.
Now, it will end up returning a lot of spells that are actually targeted by the Radiant team. From pretty much everyone on the Radiant, there is one or two targeted spells. So that Lotus Orb is going to be a very, very effective pickup.
Well, as long as it's used consistently on himself and his buddies, then yeah, it's going to go well for him. Just got to get that timing right.
Zhao is going to actually be upgrading into Mjolnir here rather than going for the Aghanim Scepter. Mjolnir, again, being placed on Axe can turn him into a terrifying initiation from the Dire onto the Radiant. Illusion's being used by Zhao actually to scout, trying to get a little bit of vision established.
And right now, it looks like they're going to be able to do
Slaughter
anything
is-
they want to kind of just gradually push this up on here.
Yeah, right now the Dire is trying to apply pressure in all three lanes. Vassal and Mirana were wrapping up behind Slaughter there, but he said, no thank you, see you later, and blinks out of there. Now, Drow is actually, she could be using her illusion top in order to push, but I think that he may have forgot about it. Because if that illusion does not hit those creeps, the Radiant is actually going to win that equilibrium in their favor. And applying pressure onto all those lanes is going to be crucial. Now, Dire, as said earlier, Dire did end up placing some additional wards on those cliffs, and they are now in almost complete control. This Radiant ward is about to expire, and at that point, the Radiant are going to be in serious trouble, with Dire being able to initiate from behind the walls, from the outside of the base. It's a good axe taunt.
Yeah, that's kind of scary to think that that's the sort of thing that they could be looking at as initiating in on them soon, but not unlikely at the same time.
Dazzle has beautifully applied Band of Vision here, actually, around the Radiant base, so no one's going to be going in or out without the Radiant knowing, without the Dire knowing about it, unless the Radiant uses a smoke. But at the end of the day, that does end up being quite obvious. Now, interestingly enough, the Dire actually did not place a high ground ward in the expected areas, probably because they're expected, but it's going to make this initiation very difficult.
Hey, well, that's kind of part of it all.
Very, very...
You gotta find the right one.
I need a... Yeah. Huge amounts of wave clear coming out from the Radiant here. Lina keeping her Dragon Slave up, and with 4-second cooldown on Frost Blast from Lich, thanks to his level 15 talent, he's able to spam that and take care of the creep waves down bottom, while Lina's continuously pushing out and farming mid. That Wraith Band placed on the ground there.
Yeah, the Dire has some great map control right now as a unit and also as individuals.
Now, I really like this sentry here placed by the Radiant. They are giving themselves quite a bit of vision here, which will allow them to avoid a pretty significant amount of arrows or taunts. But yeah, look at that. If you look right now at the Radiant vision, you can tell that they're actually in a very, very weird and scary spot. I need to stop saying very twice. I'm just defaulting to...
Yeah, they've got this ward in the mid lane here, and then they're going to be able to have a little bit of coverage on the Shadow Fiend right now. And any sort of high ground pressure, especially involving mid, Radiant are going to know about it.
Yep. And that's the thing. So right now, the Dire doesn't even have to be pressuring the Radiant in their base. They just have to have someone like Shadow Fiend showing mid, and that's it. Mirana, Drow, Axe, they could be farming, which is what they're doing. Drow's currently pushing, and due to this lack of vision, the Radiant is just completely scared and locked in their base.
Well, it's no surprise, though. Look at this net worth. It's getting closer to 20k as the night goes on, at 16k right now.
Yeah, very significant difference, and the Radiant, until it's going to be daytime and they'll have that increased sight radius, these ganks are just simply too scary, and there's just no chance for the Radiant to get out of their base. Oh,
I hear that
interesting Lotus Orb Force Staff here.
That's pretty funny.
Static Storm being used. Is Shadow Fiend going to go down here? He does have a Shadow Blade up, and he gets Grave BKBs. It looks like they will be disengaging. So, one thing to note here, absolutely beautiful high ground defense coming out from the Radiant, even though they're so far behind right now and they're just locked in their base. That tier 3 mid has not been hit once, even by a creep. That is just an amazing amount of wave clear coming out from the Radiant. Lina finally making it out to base, and she TP's out. What did she pick up there? No component of the Bloodthorn needs to be picked up at the side shop, so was she looking for a gank there? Oh, Axe wrapping up behind her. Let's see if he'll get this taunt. Oh,
does connect
landing
on him.
Lina.
Yeah, he's taking some heavy fire here. He has Battle Hunger on him.
Battle Hunger on Lina.
No Yules or anything. He's not going to be able to run from this with ease.
Barely living with the Bloodstone regeneration. Really paying off there. And
In dividends,
Lina
man. In dividends.
Lina almost level 25. Look at the talent tree that she's went for. She has 150 extra attack range, 50 extra damage, and I'm almost certain she will become that Fiery Soul stack upgrade. She is going to be a machine gun. She is going to be an absolute monster when it comes down to right click and magical damage. Now, again, this mid and top tier 3s still unharmed, even though the Dire, having built for a push lineup, are just unable to siege effectively.
Did we ever mention the Guardian Grieve on the Dazzle?
Oh yeah, that's... I actually did not notice that. Good pickup there. Good call. And again, that's
E-Blaze ready on Murano as well, so a lot of burst damage that is ready for action. And now, you know, Lina is down to 7 charge on this Bloodstone, so the value is kind of diminishing, but we're getting to a different phase of the game as well.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to be more so the... I mean, it still reduces...
Oh no, the arrow connects on Thlardar. 1, 2 raises. Poison Touch also.
Does not
the
look
heal.
like they will
Not
be
finishing it
able to
off.
finish this off, though.
Nope.
Brana was in range for a Blink Leap, but that would end up putting her in the danger zone without an escape, so she opted for the safer option here, and I'll tell you what, I honestly don't know about that. I think that the Dire need to start taking some sort of risk that doesn't have, that is offset too much by heavy cost or risk. Sorry. That has a better payoff than the actual risk, but Dire losing a ward there on the mid from that preemptive sentry, another sentry haven't been placed by Disruptor. They are ready. They do not want to get picked off. Lotus Orb has been complete on Axe, and Axe could potentially finish BKB here soon, but I'm sure if he keeps up the trend he's been showing all game, he will be saving for buyback. There's been a Silver Edge picked up on the Shadow Fiend here, not too many passives to break. The only ones that would really be heavily affected would be Bash of the Deep on Slaughter and Fire Soul on Lina.
But Moment of Courage.
No, sorry. Yeah, Moment of Courage. I was going to say Fiery Souls on Lina is actually not going to be too affected because she only has a max of 3 souls, and by the time that the Shadow Blade effect run out, she'll be able to regain those stacks right away. So, interesting pickup nonetheless.
They're looking for the magical clouds. Oh no. They're just like flicking around. I don't know.
Picked up by the Legion there. Now, Halberd's been picked up on the Legion. That's actually a really significant pickup here. Once BKB is down or Lincoln's is popped on SF and BKB is down on Drow, being able to halberd those enemies can prevent a lot of damage for quite a bit of time. Not to mention that the evasion that comes out from Heaven's Halberd is going to be very beneficial for the Legion Commander against this right click from coming out from the Dire.
Dire getting into a weird spot where they gotta break high ground, but it's getting really difficult. I don't know why they're killing trees. Maybe they hate them.
I mean, we are back in 1 minute, 30 seconds already into the night cycle once again. So the Radiant have been successfully defending their high ground now for about 8 to 10 minutes, something of that sort. And again, that tier 3 mid still has not been touched. All that's really happening here, though, for the Radiant is the fact that Lina is getting farmed off of these creep waves with the ability to clear them in 2 spell casts. Other than that, the Radiant is currently really being starved. At the moment...
I mean, it's like 20k net worth, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. The Dire is just not able to leave their base. Now, what could potentially be done here is Legion Commander moves her Blightstone into the... Oh, no, wait, it looks like Shadow Fiend's manning up here, but he goes down. Oh my gosh, he's being absolutely decimated.
Well, a couple more right clicks is all they're going to need for now.
Oh my god, that Aegis is gone. Let's see if the duel's going to get off.
Arrow does not connect, but yeah,
Oh,
there's the
BKB.
duel with the blade mail as well. I'm not sure. Anyone going to go down from this? Doesn't look like it just now. Shallow Grave will make him live for another day, and are we going to have a dunk from Axe? No, it's actually on cooldown. He's going to get controlled out for now. Down he goes.
Both Legion Commander and Lina, they are ready to fight once again. Axe has gone down, and Shadow Fiend's heavily wounded with no Aegis. So it looks like it is finally the Radiant's turn to be the aggressors. They're chasing him down. Sprint not active on Slaughter. He's not looking to finish off this chase. There is a gem on Dazzle, by the way. So further amplifying the amount of map control that the Dire has with that gem. Mjolnir now haven't been complete on Lina, and Mjolnir have been complete on Drow for quite a while now, so both teams have Chain Lightning and Lightning Shield active. Lina finally able to get out of her base, and again, she's the farmer. Everyone else is currently just sitting in base, honestly scared, because if you look at the Radiant Vision, they don't have anything. They literally have creep vision, and that is it. So, DD on Shadow.
Hey, it's that unknown, man.
Yeah. I mean, the Radiant are just, they're doing what they're supposed to do, not go into the Fog of War and get picked off. But look at this. Legion Commander, I don't think, if you look at Legion Commander right now, I do not think that she has gained any damage in the last 30 minutes or so. She's still sitting at 58 duel victory and 55 minutes in at only level 23. So other than gold, these players on the Radiant team, Lich and Disruptor especially, are absolutely starved for levels.
Yeah, and they're going to do what they can to continue pressuring out these waves. But it's going to be a lot for them, you know?
Yeah. At this point, it's reasonable to think that even though the Dire are still struggling to break this high ground, at some point they'll just have such a large net worth advantage that the Dire will just be able to push with just through sheer force.
Well, we've got the Radiant smoked up as 5.
Finally, some sort of aggression. Slaughter going in the wrong direction. His allies pinging him, saying, "Hey, come over here."
Well, that's how it's working. And they're going to run into a Shadow Fiend that's invisible right now?
Oh, they're going to the Axe, actually. Legion dueling Axe, finally getting another duel 30 minutes later.
Plus
And
76,
now
man.
With Axe down, Radiant can apply some pressure mid, although there is a buyback. And Moonlight up, so Moonlight haven't been used.
I don't know. This is just for his team to kind of get into a better position.
Let's see how.
Oh, look at that Lina from the low ground.
Range.
Jesus.
Look at that range, and she doesn't even have a Hurricane or Dragonlance. Absolute. That's how we do it. Lina says. This is how you take a tier 1. Tier 3. Murata
0.3
is
attack.
heading mid. She's going to try and get some damage in on this tower, and she can do it. She might not be a right-click build, but she does have a Drow on her team.
Yeah, Lina's going in on this. Crimson Guard on her. That'll mitigate some damage.
Actually
but
cutting off the Mirana. Let's see if she's going to go into the jungle. No, she's just running back into the base. Now, Legion Commander's picking up an Abyssal. That is always an interesting discussion when it comes down to an Abyssal or Basher on a Legion Commander. On the one hand, the lockdown's great. On the other hand, you already have lockdown. So what you end up doing is applying that stun to the enemy that could supposedly be damaging you with Blade Mail and applying Moment of Courage procs. So very interesting pickup here by the Legion Commander.
You see that Shadow Fiend's looking at Satanic for the next item, so he's going to be a freaking monster. Right now he's got plus 339 damage with 112 of it coming from the Drow.
Absolutely insane.
I mean, Drow's at 273 plus 200 right now.
I'm surprised, actually, there aren't any Daedalus on Dire team. With the Drow Aura, those Daedalus would end up just applying huge amounts of additional damage on the crit. Now, interestingly enough, what would you think about an Axe on the LC here? At the moment, no one on the enemy team could 1v1 her. No one has the damage to kill her in a one-on-one, just because of how tanky and how much healing she has.
Oh, Axe trying to go for the call, unable to connect right there. but those creeps have seen better days, that's for sure.
Oh, Slaughter having amplified himself, so
Press the attack right off, though. And all these creep waves just getting popped down immediately. Dragonlance and overwhelming odds, and they're not going to be able to really stand toe-to-toe. And I think there was a Thunderstrike in there, too. Who knows, really?
If you just look at the individual players' net worth, it's actually really interesting. So we got Lena sitting at 35,000, thanks to all the last hits she's been getting mid from deep pushing. But
are you ready for a moonshot on her?
I'm ready for. Yeah. What do you think she's gonna get rid of for her 7th slot, essentially?
I think there
maybe?
could be a BKB that she just switches back and forth in her. But she really doesn't need BKB. I mean, unless she gets gusted out or something like that. But
yeah, the BKB not having too much value here. I don't know. Maybe
she could eat a Moonshard first. But her Fiery Souls are ridiculous.
Maybe upgrade Boots of Travel to tier 2. But here's the thing. With her current passive, Fiery Soul grants...
I mean, we can get her up to max attack speed.
Yeah, so she is sitting at max attack speed. She's sitting at... She has 700 attack speed. That is hilarious. No agi items. The only some attack speed coming out from the Bloodthorn and the Silver Edge, but sitting at 700 attack speed, that is...
Well, hey, Mjolnir, plus 80.
Oh yeah, Mjolnir, I completely... Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, there's also this other item that gives him just attack speed, basically.
Yeah, it's like one of the fastest attack speed increases in the game.
Yeah, you know, no big deal. Just just completely glance over it.
Now, there is a Solar Crest on the Dazzle here. Very interesting pickup. Satanic haven't been complete on the Shadow Fiend. They are looking for a kill here. They see a Legion Commander. Legion Commander way out of the base. So is Disruptor.
Now they have the Moonlight Shadow committed as well. They're out there as 4. Hey, man. For over an hour, and this is game 1. Jeez.
This is just excellent Dota being played from both these teams. Granted, it's stalling Dota, but Dota nonetheless.
Yeah, and I mean, Shadow Fiend and Drow Ranger, they're ready for action. They've got a lot of farm behind them. Who knows how much more it's going to take for them to be able to break this base, even just through chip damage or ratting. There's so many ways they could be trying to go about it.
Drow's still 4-slotted, as a matter of fact. Still has Power Treads and a Keyleth to switch out. Boots of Travel
she just said that, yeah, the Boots of Travel over, and then...
So,
it's really going to be
item for her is Satanic, it looks like. Yeah.
Well, it would be nice if we saw a Daedalus at this point, you know?
Yep. Oh,
what? Radiant
Courier has been picked off, so no item pickups for Legion Commander. She wanted to finish off that Abyssal. It is now delayed by 3 minutes. Now, Lena could potentially purchase a Courier and upgrade it for her team, but I don't think that they want to mess with that microing right now.
Yeah, man, let's have a second Courier right now. Just
okay, this is actually really interesting. Shadow Fiend just now having purchased his Boots of Travels, and he still has his bottle in his backpack and his magic wand, not having sold those items yet. 60 minutes in. Very interesting.
Well, you never know when he's going to need it.
Yeah. Mirana has a sheep stick now, by the way.
That's pretty cool.
On the hunt. Lena on the hunt bot. Let's take a look. Bloodthorn, Silver Edge.
There's the E-Blade, popping him out. There's a stun. Crushed Laguna Blade.
Absolutely crushed. That is right. Absolutely crushed. Now, how many last hits does Lena have? 567.
Oh, jeez. Well, the Bloodthorn on the Lena is at least doing pretty well.
Yeah, Radiant is surprisingly not going on the offensive here just yet.
They probably don't realize that they could take a fight with them being down on the Mirana. Maybe they're a little scared. I'm not too sure.
I'll tell you what it is.
You see, Axe has a force
Lack of
staff
vision.
in his backpack, or his his backpack.
Yeah, it's lack of vision, I think. The Radiant, they just don't have any sort of vision outside of their base. So they can't go for pickoffs. They'll smoke. They won't be able to find their targets. And then the Dire having the superior vision. Oh,
Oh,
double
Crush
crush.
coming out on him right there. What? That's
Lickens was popped on Shadow Fiend.
the Blade Mail too on the Pippi Man. They're going to be able to duel out Shadow Fiend very quickly.
Oh,
He's
Dazzle
going to go
not
down.
in position.
Oh no! And
Dazzle
now Axe
far,
needs
far
to
away.
retreat. The
Oh,
Crush.
Slithering Crush landing. Force staff coming out.
That
Slaughter's
corrosive
now
haze
amplified
getting
himself.
just thrown back and forth was really good too.
Oh, they are still going. They're going for the axe.
Oh,
And we got the
jeez.
disconnect here. That'll give me time to grab it. Drink real quick. Sorry. Oh, okay. Let me take a look at... Yeah, I ran through my water ball. We're talking too much. Now, let's take a look at the Slardar here, actually. His last purchase, and I don't know how long ago this was, but it's actually an armlet. What do you think about that?
Wait, what'd you say? Who?
Look at the Slardar.
Slardar got an
His
armlet at
last
64
purchase was
minutes?
an armlet. I'm not saying he got it now. He may have gotten it 20, 30 minutes ago. He hasn't exactly been able to farm.
Sure,
So,
sure.
But still, an armlet over a force staff or maybe even a shadow blade. I know that the Dire has their detection, but he needs to be able to get on top of his targets other than just blink dagger. So either a force staff or a shadow blade. But no, he decided to opt for the armlet. Very interesting. Moonlight has been picked up on Lena, and she has 6,300 gold in the bank right now. There is an ATOS on the Disruptor. He's currently having it as his backpack. He has 2 sentries. Okay. Sorry that I have to ask this here, but is there a button I can use to see your perspective?
Nope.
Damn. All right.
I'm looking at just like the random shit up at the top, just kind of skimming around from hero to hero.
Look at Drow right now. She has a whopping 8,000 gold.
8,000 gold.
A lot of gold saved up on these players. Even the supports. Wow, look at the supports in the Dire. Even Lich and Disruptor are sitting at 3.5k each.
Wow.
So, very interesting. There's a very significant amount of surplus and unreliable gold on both of those supports. Very interesting. All right, I'm gonna go grab that block. Thank you.
Shadow Fiend has that plus 14 dual damage victory that he got so much earlier in the game. Really fun that he was able to pick that up. Looks like Axe is gonna finally get a bit of travel, and so many items he's got rolling. He's 5'6". He's got a force staff just sitting in his backpack right now. Oh boy. Dazzle's almost 25. Oh, no, he was talking just like in general, because I told him that I can't cast all night. That is not something I can do, because I wake up early.
I'll try. I could probably do it.
Yeah, but I still have the broadcasting feed.
I understand.
Yeah. Wave clear sucks. A lot of hits. Well, yeah. So this is a game that's happening.
I have
40,000 net worth on Alina.
I have to admit these guys here, these players, Nugs, Pippi Man, Quintiok, I drink your Ammo Rack.
Amarak. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but...
and Sat Chicken, this Radiant team really putting up one hell of a defense for, I think it's like over 30 minutes now, something to that extent, and reconnect and disconnect.
Oh no.
Now, on the Dire team, once again, we have Henry, Wadsworth, Dongfellow, I Drink Your Milkshake, Magical Clouds on the Dazzle, and dead right now. We have Tiny Puddles on the Shadow Fiend and Felicity Jones respawning in 8 seconds and disconnected on the Mirana. Now, both of these teams, I have to say, they're playing and cooperating incredibly well. This honestly doesn't look like, any sort of horrible, under-skilled, low MMR Dota. This is really well played on both teams. Both of them executed their comps to the fullest extent.
What do you think about
really
the Mirana doing plus 100 leap attack speed versus the extra arrows?
Oh, that is an interesting pickup here.
Do you know? Have you
I
seen the
honestly
extra
don't know how I
arrows?
feel about that. Yeah.
Okay.
I honestly don't know how I feel about that. I mean, the synergy with her team is quite obvious, right? The extra leap attack speed when they're trying to burst down a target, or
But they all attack so goddamn
take out a
fast,
tower.
though.
But exactly, they all Drow is currently sitting at 0.4 seconds per attack. Shadow Fiend, let me take a look. Shadow Fiend is at 0.6 actually. Interesting. Shadow Fiend doesn't have that much attack speed, so I guess that does bump him up from 2 attacks every 1 second to maybe 3 attacks per second. But I don't know. I still think that you're right. Those arrows could potentially would have allowed. It's too late now.
They have
would probably
Alaskan
have allowed-
players? Players from Alaska? I don't understand.
What? There are people in Alaska. What?
Oh, no, just like the ping
Oh
differences.
my goodness!
Oh,
Oh, Axe blinked into the trees! Oh my goodness!
Well, he's going to be getting dropped down just a little bit. Pippi wants to duel this. Something gets reflected back. I don't know what it was, but he's going to go down in the end. Oh, it was the Thunderstrike reflected back on the Disruptor. How hilarious. Rip Mr. Henry.
I just talked about
Hadsworth.
how these guys don't look like they're 3K players and are better than that. Then Axe proves me wrong by blinking into the trees. Well done, Axe. Well done. Touche.
The arrow in the top doesn't connect on anybody.
Maybe if she had 2 more.
Oh, jeez, but the bottom lane, they're getting pushed in again. Disruptor's forced to go back, and uh-oh, in the top lane, are we going to see an arrow connect? Yeah, we will. Oh, it's on
No
Pippi,
follow-up,
man.
though. There are 2 people down. Shadow Fiend is nearly respawned now. Did not need to use his buyback.
Structures are fortified.
Glyph being used by the Dire here to delay this.
Crush
tower's-
coming out on Drow. He's going to get 4 staff away from his friends and family. And, oh no, I think everything's going to go out of control. Ah. E-Blade connecting
Now-
on the Lena.
Barracks are under attack.
Oh, Gus barely missing. Axe did end up buying back there, so the Dire continue to hold on to their barracks. That ranged Thrax actually damaged quite a bit. Oh my goodness, look at the mid. Mid was
Oh, jeez, they got the range tracks, and Melee almost
now
went
the
down
ranged
too.
Thrax, I think,
Oh, Pippi,
yeah.
man! He's down. He's dead. He could be down for the count. They're going to push in, and they could probably
does
force a
have
buyback. Yeah, I mean, that would be
Yeah.
good for them.
Dazzle is up top right now, so if Legion Commander buys back,
Well, it needed to
they need
happen.
to actually find this, though. Yeah, they need to make something happen here, and without a shrine to teleport onto, the best they can hope for is running at them, and the Dire says, "No, thank you, ma'am. I
Oh,
will not
arrow
do
miss
this for
again.
you."
Well, Lena ate her
Roche-
moon shard, and, you know, Lena could buy moon shards for other people, too, now. That's a thing.
Yep. but it's a new thing, so I don't know what the odds are of
Roshan
her
has
doing
fallen to
it.
the dire.
She could
Well,
potentially do
anyone
it. I
could do
mean,
it.
she could
Oh,
buy two moon shards right now if she wanted to. She has nearly 8,000 gold surplus. DD up on the Shadow Fiend, but it looks like it'll run out just before they get there. Oh, teamfight breaking out. Glimpse on the axe to initiate. Arrow landing on Delina, putting her out of position. Delina being taunted. Absolutely crushed. DD on the Shadow Fiend, just wrecking through
oh,
her.
did you see that
Lots of
E-Blade
armor.
used, like, as the leap was going across?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Absolutely. Absolutely beautiful play. Let's see. Oh, Lich taking out the Mirana, finding that kill with the last bit of mana he has.
Absolutely ridiculous sort of combatant coming off here, and oh, Slardar blinking off on there. He's gonna try and do something. Corrosive Haze dropped
Oh,
out.
Mirana blinking aggressively, hexing Delina. And
Arrow
this
connects,
is
but the Shrine was procced already. He's gonna get the stun and the heal off, and oh,
huge damage coming out. That amplified damage doing a lot of work. Slardar being mowed down by the Drow. Drow says, I don't need my ultimate up. I don't care if you're in my face.
I mean,
Drow
I think I would a little bit.
absolutely. Drow just going to town. They have no answer for the Drow. No buybacks on either the Lena or the Slaughter. Grave coming out on Shadow Fiend, finally breaking the tier 2. There are no barracks. We got mega creeps on the dire.
Oh, geez. Henry Wadsworth Dongfellow was able to get the blink, strike, slash, and dash in on the Pippy Man.
GG, ladies and gentlemen. First game out of 3, potential 3, 69 minutes in on the dot. Wow, what a game. Absolutely incredible Dota for both these teams, all 10 players. That was some intense high ground defense, but what can I say? After 69 minutes, Disruptor still level 24, Slaughter 24, and Lich barely hitting level 23. They just got their resources and map control taken away from them from the Dire due to the Dire's push strat. I apologize. So yeah. Alrighty. So
Well, congratulations to our victors, the Disciples of Synderen. Disciples of Synderen for taking this game here, game 1 of this best of 3 series. My name is Sky, at Reach for Sky, joined with tehKitteh, casting this match for you tonight. I'm going to check in with them on the next match in the series, and we'll probably be coming out with that for you shortly. All right, guys. So just want to let you know that I'm going to be switching over the stream. It's going to be Kitty. He's going to be picking up game 2 and potentially 3 for you. So I apologize for the delay in the time for the switch over from these games, but when you get those 70-minute games that are actually an hour 40 with all the pauses and breaks and stuff, players need a break, casters need a break, and we had a little bit of technical things that we had to work out on our end. But appreciate your patience, and we're going to be passing it over to the man, tehKitteh, and he'll be your caster for the next game in the series. So just sit tight. Next game will be starting relatively soon, and I'm going to throw a host his way as soon as he is on. So thanks again, guys, and thank you, Kitty, for being with me. And best of luck to Collective 5 Inches and the Disciples of Synderen in the next game tonight for the group stages of the Trench League.